Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive?
Always ready to explore.
Awesome. Well, today we're tackling sourcing and procurement in Malaysia.
Sounds complex.
It can be, but that's why we're here. Our listener wants to know how Malaysian companies get the goods and services they need to thrive. The whole process.
Makes sense. Every business needs stuff to operate.
Exactly. And we're going to break it all down using this sourcing and procurement, that PDF document. It's packed with insights.
Great. So where do we even start?
Well, first things first, sourcing and procurement, two different things, but totally connected. Sourcing is like the matchmaking part, finding the right suppliers.
So like finding the perfect business partner.
Exactly. And procurement is the doing part, placing orders, getting those deliveries on time, managing contracts, you name it.
So they work hand in hand.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they're both vital for any company's success. The document actually highlights Nestle Malaysia as a prime example.
Nestle, the chocolate and coffee folks.
Yeah, the very same. Think about their massive supply chain, all those ingredients from around the world. Sourcing and procurement, got to be a huge operation for them.
Yeah, that's a ton of moving parts.
Definitely. Sourcing makes sure they get top-notch ingredients at competitive prices, and procurement ensures everything flows smoothly. So those Kit Kats and Nespresso pods hit the shelves.
Makes you appreciate the complexity behind those everyday products, huh?
Totally. But let's zoom in on sourcing for a sec. It's not just about finding the cheapest option, right?
Not at all. The document emphasizes that. Companies are looking at reliability big time. You need suppliers who can deliver consistently. Imagine delays holding up your entire production.
A logistical nightmare.
Exactly. Quality is another biggie. You can't compromise on the ingredients or materials, or it'll affect your final product.
And these days, sustainability is a major player too. Consumers are demanding it.
Absolutely. Ethical sourcing is non-negotiable now. Companies need suppliers who are environmentally responsible and treat their workers fairly.
It's like a whole checklist: cost, reliability, quality, sustainability.
A delicate balance for sure. And speaking of balance, there are different sourcing strategies companies use. Single, dual, global, local. The document breaks them down.
Can you give us a quick rundown? What are the trade-offs?
Sure. Single sourcing can be risky, relying on just one supplier, but it lets you build a super strong partnership. The document mentions Gardenia Malaysia, the bread company.
Oh yeah, their bread's everywhere.
Right. They've built these amazing relationships with their wheat suppliers. It's not just about price. They collaborate, problem solve, innovate together. True win-win.
That's awesome. But yeah, what if something happens to that one supplier? A fire, a natural disaster, anything.
That's the risk with single sourcing. That's where dual sourcing comes in, having a backup supplier ready to go just in case.
A move.
Definitely. And then you have global sourcing, tapping into a wider pool of suppliers, potentially lower costs. But local sourcing has its perks too, supporting local communities, reducing those transport emissions.
So many factors to consider. It's like a strategic puzzle.
It really is. Companies have to weigh all the options and find the best fit for their needs.
Absolutely. Okay, let's shift gears to procurement. What are the key steps involved in the actual process?
Well, it all starts with identifying the need. What does a company need and why?
Simple enough.
Right. Then comes supplier selection, using all those criteria we talked about. Cost, reliability, the whole 9 yards. Then you move into the negotiation phase.
Ooh, the art of the deal.
Exactly. Hammering out a contract that works for both parties. This is where those human skills, communication, compromise, they really shine.
So even though the document mentions Shopee Malaysia using an e-procurement system to streamline things,
right, those systems are awesome for efficiency.
Those soft skills are still crucial in procurement.
Totally. You're dealing with people, building relationships. That human touch is irreplaceable.
I get it. It's a blend of tech and human finesse. But what about challenges? Are there any common hiccups companies face during procurement?
Oh, for sure. It can be tough to juggle those competing priorities. You want the best price, but not at the expense of quality or timely delivery.
It's a tricky balancing act.
Absolutely. And sometimes you're dealing with global suppliers, different cultures, different ways of doing business. It adds another layer of complexity.
Definitely something to keep in mind.
Oh, and there's always the risk of, someone trying to get one over on the other party. That's why trust and clear communication are so important.
Transparency is key.
For sure. Speaking of transparency, we can't forget about risk management.
Yeah.
The document really stresses that.
Makes sense. Procurement deals, there's always some level of risk. What are some ways to mitigate those potential problems?
Well, diversifying your suppliers is huge. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. If you're over-reliant on a single source and they have a disruption, it can ripple through your entire operation.
Ouch. Not good.
Nope. Regular audits are important too, making sure your suppliers are meeting those quality and ethical standards you set.
Keeping them accountable.
Exactly. And of course, technology is playing a bigger role in risk management. Real-time shipment tracking, data analytics to forecast potential supply chain issues. It's pretty amazing.
Like a high-tech safety net for procurement. And we can't forget the sustainability aspect. It's woven into the whole sourcing and procurement process now.
Rightly so. Consumers are demanding it. How are companies ensuring the procurement practices align with those values? It's a big question. They're stepping up their game, that's for sure. Scrutinizing their suppliers, digging into their practices. Are they paying fair wages? Are their environmental policies legit? These factors are becoming deal breakers for many companies.
It's encouraging to see businesses taking it seriously.
It's not just good ethics, it's good business. Consumers are rewarding companies that do the right thing.
Makes sense. Now, the document also talks about how technology is transforming procurement in some pretty cool ways. What's catching your eye there?
It's exciting stuff. Artificial intelligence is playing a bigger role. Imagine AI analyzing tons of data to predict what companies will need even before they know it.
Wow, that's next level.
It is. Or AI helping to select the best suppliers based on a ton of complex factors. It's not just about speed. It's about smarter, more informed decisions.
Streamlining the whole process.
Totally. And that's not all. Blockchain is another game changer. It brings transparency and traceability to supply chains. Imagine being able to track a product's journey from raw materials to the store shelf, verifying ethical sourcing every step of the way.
That level of transparency would be huge. Building trust with consumers.
Exactly. It's a powerful tool for responsible procurement.
Wow, this has been an incredible deep dive. It's amazing how much goes on behind the scenes in sourcing and procurement. It's about so much more than just paperwork and logistics.
Totally agree. It's about strategy, relationships, responsibility. It's a hidden engine that powers businesses and impacts every product we use.
So true. And it's awesome to see how companies in Malaysia are using these strategies and technologies to navigate the complexities of today's global marketplace.
They're setting a great example for sure.
Absolutely. For our listeners, here's a thought to ponder. Given how crucial strong supplier relationships are, how can Malaysian companies invest even more in those win-win partnerships? The kind that drive innovation and benefit everyone involved. It's a question worth exploring as technology evolves and sustainability becomes even more important.
Definitely something to think about.
Thanks for joining us on this fascinating journey into the world of sourcing and procurement in Malaysia. Until next time.
See ya.